That's wrong. Don't do that. What's going on today? I have an important message for you guys about strength training, about any kind of training really, and that is the message, the sermon of progression. And this is something that a lot of people, a lot of beginners, even intermediates, they lose sight of when they're training. And first of all, this is because most people train without a program, okay? If you're one of the people who goes to the gym and you walk through the doors and you're like, all right, I'm gonna do legs today, or I'm gonna do arms today. What should I do? What should I do? That's wrong. Don't do that. You need to have a plan when you go to the gym. And this plan has to be part of a larger framework, a larger structure, a grand plan, all right? You're an architect and you're building a skyscraper, okay? And that skyscraper is your athletic body, all right? It is your fitness foundation. You need to be thinking about your body like an engineer would think about a machine they're building. And your program needs to reflect that. There's a lot of different goals you can have, a lot of different body types out there, a lot of different exercises. There's a hell of a lot of exercises out there you can be doing. But programming itself should be relatively simple. You want to gain muscle mass. You want to lose fat. You want to gain more power and strength. Maybe you want to just be more athletic and be able to run a half marathon. It doesn't matter what the goal is. There is a structure, a simple structure that can be built for these goals. And if you have a structure like this in place, if you have a plan, then there is planned progression. So if you're trying to build strength, that means every week you're increasing the weights. If you're not increasing the weights, you're increasing the reps. And when you hit a certain rep cap, you drop back down in reps and then you up the weight. There's all kinds of different planning structures that are incredibly popular. There's 5x5. There's the 5-3-1. There's the Texas method. There's powerlifting plans. There's bodybuilding plans. There's fat loss plans. All of these plans take into account progression. They are built on progression. They rely on progression. Progression is the lifeblood of getting more fit, because people who don't have a plan, who just walk into the gym every day, they tend to do the same things for the same muscle groups. They'll go in and they'll do 10 reps. And then next week they'll do 10 reps. And then next week maybe they'll add some weight, they'll do 10 reps. Maybe the next week they're not feeling so hot, they'll go back to the weight they had week 1 and 2. They'll do 10 reps. There needs to be a planned progression so that every time you're working out, you're pushing your body just a little bit harder than you did last time. If you're not doing this, then you're missing out on a ton of strength gains, a ton of fat loss, a ton of muscle building. Whatever your goal is, you're missing out. It has been said by some people, and I will not be the one to present studies to prove whether it's true or not, but I will repeat it for the sake of its efficacy, that 90% of your gains are made in the last set of your workout. The last set. Because that is where you push yourself. That's where you are at the brink. You're about to fail. You're tired. Your muscles have had enough. But the most important thing about strength training is pushing yourself just past that boundary, just outside of your comfort zone. That is progression, my people. It's progression. So if you're the guy who goes in there and does 3 sets of 12 of everything, add a 4th set this week. Add a 4th set this week. And then next week, up your weight and go back to 3 sets. And then the week after that, keep that higher weight and then do 4 sets again. It's as simple as that. You don't really need a program. You don't really need a structure. You just need to keep track of what you're doing and make it a little bit harder. And if you're really advanced, if you're just really in tune with your body, you can do this just by feeling. You know how bad it hurt last week. You know how bad it should hurt this week. If you're doing the same thing you did last week, it probably won't feel too bad, but it should feel a little bad. Progression hurts. Progression takes grit. So if this is new information to you, I would invite you to go onto Google and look up a program. Find a program. Find a split that makes sense for you and just print it out, okay? Print it out on a couple sheets of computer paper, black and white, nothing fancy, and throw it in your gym bag. And when you go to the gym, just do what it says. Do the number of reps, do the number of sets. increase your weight by the percentages prescribed. Or just get a spreadsheet or a notebook to take to the gym with you where you can write down your numbers each week. You don't even need the program. Just take the notepad, write down what you did, and then next time when you go in for that muscle group, you'll see what you did, and you can choose to add a little bit of extra weight or add a few extra reps. You need that progression, okay? That's all I'm saying. That's the whole point of this video, is you just need to be having progression in your program. Every time someone goes in and they do an entire workout, they spend a whole hour doing their routine, but they didn't push themselves to that brink, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And how many people are out there doing that? How many people do you think are out there doing it? A lot. A lot of people. And just because you're doing it on bench press doesn't mean you're doing it on your squat. Just because you're doing it with your bicep curls doesn't mean you're doing it with your shoulder raises. Everything needs progression. Otherwise, you'll get weak points. If you have a super overdeveloped chest because you're constantly adding weight to your bench press, but you don't take care of those shoulders or those triceps, guess what? You have a weak point, and that weak link can break. We don't want that. We don't want injuries. No, no, no. That is anti-progression. So that's it, people. Get a plan. Add progression into your weightlifting. And if you really need help doing this, if you want someone to walk you through this step by step, if you want a custom-built plan constructed by an experienced professional who's trained over 150 clients, then you have a lot of choices. I am one of them. Leave me a comment if you need help with anything, if you have questions. And as always, as well as adding progression to your program, make sure you're training lively. All right? Have a good one, guys. Good luck.